Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know that intro, very confusing. So let me tell you guys a little something. So I hinted to it earlier. Everything kind of fell into place. So I'm going to tell you our plan. We had a guy call from Colorado. He was talking about engine builds, yada, yada. And I said, basically what you need is a 6.4. And he's like, yeah. He's like, going back and forth. I was like, I have one that's barely ran, just got broken in on the dyno. It's ready to go. I'll sell it to you. Gave him a good deal. Before we knew it, bam, on the pallet, ready to go, shipped to Colorado. I used a bunch of old pallets to make this pallet. Basically, this is only on here to keep something from bumping into here. Ratchet strapped, supported, locked in on the back on the oil pan rail. And this guy now has a barely used 6.4 ready to rip. Got it all blocked up, saran wrap for him. It should serve him for many years. The push rods are right under here, but we did that. So now I know what you guys are asking. What are we gonna do now with the quad cab? Well, found a guy that was selling a deck plate block, and I said, you know what the hell, let's just put a deck plate in. At this point, if we're gonna go to an event, let's just ball out as best we can. So that leads me to today's little video. The engine that we bought has a no limit cross bolted girdle or bed plate, whatever you want to call it. And because of that, instead of it being block oil pan, there is now a 3/4 inch piece of plate steel in between there. which will not clear on our factory cross member. So what we have to do is make effectively a new cross member. In theory, not too bad. In reality, it's going to take some work. So what I have is I purchased a Harbor Freight pipe bender. I have some DOM tube, and what I'm going to do is measure from here to the floor, and what I need to achieve is about 3/4 of an inch lower. Really, a 1/2 inch would give us enough room because there is about a 1/2 inch clearance here, but I want to give us plenty of room to set this engine in. Now, because we are adding 3/4 of an inch, I don't think anything else is going to rub. I know it's tight on the front axle, but it's doable. And then because it's a deck plate, we now have to go even further into this cowl, about here, and go back, across, and over to achieve good clearance for a deck plate. What that means is our wiper support up there needs to be chopped up, gusseted, and raised up higher. So that is the goal of this video, is just preparation for the deck plate. After this video, we will probably dive into some more suspension stuff, but for right now, deck plate's a priority. Before I get too far into this video though, let me show you guys something here. Where are they? Look at these beauties here. So Wagler competition, they already had arguably the best rod in the industry. So what did they do? They made it even stronger with the extra beam, or extreme beam. So to compare this to I don't know if I want to dig in there, but on a normal Wagler, there is a little relief here. They got rid of that. And then the rod itself, much heavier, which should give us more stability at high RPMs. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but trust me. And then they reinforced this cap. Now the Street Fighter that I have here is similar to their regular rod, so we'll just use that. But you can kind of see the material that they added into the bottom part of the strap here. They also still did the relief. And this is kind of a good example when everyone's like, oh, like, what's the difference between a Street Fighter and a billet rod? Well, you guys can kind of see the finish machining on them is very different. But look at that. These are just beefy. My goodness. They added some girth to these. Obviously, these are deck plate rods, which is why they're longer, but I will dig out a regular deck plate rod to show it to you, but these are, I believe, rated for 4,000 horsepower. Now, his old billet rods, I think he put 3,200 or something on them, but these are now rated. These are the strongest rods that Wagler has ever made. And just want to be totally clear, Austin and Jeremy over here just said try these out. They were very grateful for how I've pushed these Street Fighters for, I mean, at this point, well over 3 years, just beating living snot out of them. I've been a stocking dealer for them for quite some time, and this was their way to thank me. So I just want to be huge shout out to Wagler Competition Products, Jeremy Wagler, and Austin Myers for, you know, number one, making an amazing product, good support, and number two, for helping me pursue my dreams of making big power. So big thank you to them. Okay, so after a bunch of cutting and grinding and fitting our sheet metal in, getting it all welded in, I've sealed it up. You guys can see the foam in there. We also tack welded this piece up here, blew a nice hole in that, fixed that, sealed this up. So essentially what happens is your truck will suck air in from under the engine compartment. So if you look right there, those are actually the bolts that hold like the top part of your dash in through the window. So what I do when I finally gut this cowl like that is I seal it up. For one, I don't want any flames or anything getting inside the truck. And number two, I don't want all that smell of crankcase or explosion or whatever getting in the truck. So this is kind of what I do. I don't necessarily think you need to do this. Over here, I have a piece of like tinfoil tape that goes over it, but this is now all patched in. And let's see who we got coming in here. Well, he's even, look at that, guys, fresh shave after the baby shower. Phew. And here we have our temporary cross member. Pretty simple. I got it to where I kind of had to tap it in, a little bit of a press fit, nothing crazy, just light taps. I have it parallel to the axle, which is also parallel with this bottom here. So now from here, what I'm gonna do is take my measurements from this cross member to the floor. As long as I don't change the height of this, that measurement should be accurate. I also, just now looking at this, I think what I might do is actually take the measurement from here to the center link maybe, or even from here to our temporary cross member. But basically we need to figure out exactly where it sits. It needs to be lower from right about here to right about here. That is 1 5/8 DOM tubing I had left over from a roll cage that we just tack welded in. From here, I don't know what I want to do yet. I think in order for all of this to work, when I look at the factory one, it kind of comes forward to miss the track bar and then comes over the track bar. I think for certain I'm gonna have to start the DOM here because there is so much structure there tied in with the factory track bar mount on both sides, really. So I think what we'll do is we'll cut it here, plate it, and then I don't know yet, guys. I'm still in the brainstorming thing, but we got all of our foam cut down now, so we can actually do that, paint it, but I'll just kind of paint everything all at once. Okay, originally I had hopes of grandeur of making my own piece of DOM tube, but then I realized this is such a big slope. The pipe bender I got just kinked it. What I did, I cut the factory one apart. I cut the inner channel out of it, and now this sandwiches over the outside, and when you tap it down, it's exactly 3/4. It's in some spots it's like what would that be, 11/16, but there is some gap there from the factory, and the girdle's 5/8 or 3/4, so we should have everything we need. Now I'm gonna go ahead and blow all this off. I already got it ground down, and then we'll go ahead and burn this in with the factory piece here, and I'll show you guys the finished product. Well, it ain't pretty, but it's honest work. I think it's like double pass for sure on everything. But we got it all sealed up. It's time to cut this brace, and then just so you guys are clear, the oil pan goes about right there. Actually, here, I'll take you over to this truck here. Very smoky, a lot of fire. You guys look, it goes about 1/2 inch in from that eyelet there, and then over here it is just as it starts to kind of level out. We go over here, look at that, all the smoke from the chassis paint and crap melting off. So it's dead on. and this one also dead on. So we are set. I think this is going to be pretty strong. I filled the holes with some 1/4 inch flat stock I had, and then welded those all the way in. It's fully welded on the bottom and on this side, and I think we'll let this thing cool down for, it's going to take a minute, a lot of heat in it, and then we'll blow everything off, paint everything back up, and consider this project done. Well, that's gonna be a wrap on this video. Got it all painted up, looking fresh under here, resprayed that, looking good, looking good. So in closing, guys, today we yanked that motor out. Again, that's going to Colorado. When our new stuff gets here, I will show it to you, but we had to modify our cross member for the bed plate, girdle plate, whatever you want to call it. In my opinion, I think I read somewhere, if it goes from oil pan to oil pan, I mean, I guess a bed plate's got the main caps built in, but I mean, you guys will see when this gets here, this thing is like top of the line. It's gonna be really cool. But we had to do that so we could clearance the bottom there. So we gained 3/4 of an inch, which means we should have a factory gap under our oil pan. And then we clearanced under the cowl. Again, that is for a deck plate. Do you have to do that? No. Does it make it a heck of a lot easier to work on? Absolutely. And then unlike my 05, on this one, we did seal up all of the holes, so that way none of the crankcase pressure or crankcase smells, fire, anything like that can get in there. I did use expandable foam. It is the fire proof stuff. I got it at Lowe's. And yeah, guys, that's going to be a wrap. Hopefully you like this one. Drop a comment down below. Subscribe if you are not already. And as always, guys, I will catch y'all on the next one.